nominated by the Browns for Ernie's birthday.
It's a great honor. I just try and play the game the right way, and you know, I like that. Just try and play the game the right way, and respect the guys we're going against. We know it's a tough battle, but you play hard, and you can still take care of those guys and be respectful and enjoy the game.
How'd you find out?
Dan Murphy let me know, so that's always good. He's been my connection on quite a few of these, so Dan lets me know, and that was kind of how I found out.
So, it's a little strange seeing Joe Flacco in a Browns uniform.
Yeah, I had a decent amount of games against him when he was, on the Ravens. Obviously, last year when he was on the Jets. Seeing him at practice is definitely different, and it's one of those things where it might take a few practices to get used to.
Joe, after the game, we talked about the Steelers going bigger personnel to kind of slow down the run game last week. So do you expect to see more of that? And if so, how do you count on it?
Yeah, actually the Broncos kind of similar scheme to like the Ravens and Steelers, their base defense, 3 down, but turns into 5 guys on the line basically. And so they have an ability to run that defense as well, and I'm sure we're going to get different looks at it. We're just trying to prepare and make sure we have the right plays in and the right game plan in case we do need to get bigger and make those things happen. But I think we'll see some growth with the offense just with Dorian getting another chance, another week, and having more time to throw in some new plays and stuff.
How do you feel about going on another long road trip and perhaps maybe doing some more team bonding as you guys head into the home stretch?
Yeah, it's I think if you asked me when I was like 22 when I first got in the league, I'd be like, that's great, Now I got kids at home and stuff, so it's a little bit tough to leave the kids and the wife at home, for a week. But we're gonna make the most of it. We know we got to beat Denver, and then from there we have a week in LA, and it's actually close to home, back home for me. So me and my mom and brother and sister can come up and hang out a little bit. But as a team, we're gonna I think treat it like a normalish week, but we'll obviously have time to go to dinner and be around each other and just continue to learn. And Coach kind of went over last week. We have a bunch of guys that weren't there when we went to the Greenbrier, so we're kind of bringing those guys along too. It's a the NFL's unfortunately a revolving door of guys getting hurt and bringing guys in and stuff like that. So we have a new team almost every week, and so you bring someone else new in. But it'll be good. It'll be good to be around the guys, and hopefully we can have a good time out there.
What do you think you guys have been able to withstand everything that you have withstood? I mean, you've been here and you've seen this stuff that in other years would derail seasons, but yet you guys seem to have found a way to be resilient. What do you think has been the difference for you guys?
I think it's a testament. It starts at the top. Andrew Berry and Coach Stefanski, they built a strong team, with depth and guys that can come in and step in and make plays. And then it speaks to guys' resilience and understanding, like, we don't have everybody out there, but we have the right guys. We have the right guys out there. And we understand, we wish we had our full strength of guys. Like, it'd be great to go in with Deshaun and Nick and Jack and Jed on offense. But we don't have that. And we have, other guys that are stepping up and making plays for us. And we try not to look too far ahead. We just try and go 1-0 this week, every week. And when we do that, I think we're focused and we're determined, and we know we have enough out there to win and compete.
How's Jerron gotten more comfortable?
Yeah, he that first start was, I still think, pretty dang impressive. Like, you come off the street, you come in, you start a game against one of the better defenses in the league. I think there were 1 or 2 at the time, with Cleveland. And you come in, you play that game, and you get a big one, and then you have to go against Pittsburgh and their edge rushers. So he's had kind of a fast couple of weeks, but he got drafted in Washington with Callahan. So he had a little bit of experience with working with Coach Callahan and stuff. But he's done a great job. He's gotten a bunch of reps, and it's really been impressive. I've been impressed with his work ethic and his just, ability to learn the offense and try and get an understanding. But I think he's getting more and more comfortable, and hopefully, we keep playing together, as long as Jed's still working back and we can keep improving.
Dwan coming back out, that has to be
AP shot in there once.
Yeah, DeJuan's working hard to be 100% and make those plays. But he's a good player. He I think you see his pass protection is pretty impressive with his size and stuff, and just having him next to White on the right side will be a big boost for us.
Defensively, when you guys used to do that, what has stood out over the stretch?
The number one thing is turnovers. They've forced, I think it's like 12 turnovers in that stretch, so they're huge in the turnover margin, and I think that's something Coach stresses all the time is, if you win the turnover margin, your record goes way better. But they're playing good. You look at like some of the advanced EPA stats and stuff, they're still technically ranked last, but if you look at the last 5 games, they're like top 5 or top 10, in the league. So they've done a lot of good things. They have a solid front, and their corners and their DBs can really cover well too.
You guys do that, strip sack drill during camp where you're jumping on the loose balls on the pads and stuff like that. Earlier this year, Wyatt jumped on one that saved saved the game for you. Just how cognizant going against a team that's real aggressive at ripping the ball out to you as an offensive lineman have to be, and as far as making sure that you're seeing that football go where it needs to go.
Right. We're hopefully focused on protecting, so our guys, aren't ones forcing fumbles and making those plays. But if it does ever happen, like you said, we've learned to slide into it, cradle it. White did a great example of taking care of the ball. Hopefully, you're never in that position. You know what I mean? I think one time a few years ago, I tried to pick it up against the Jets when it wasn't legal to advance the ball. You know what I mean? So I've learned my lesson. You probably won't see me doing that anymore. But no, we want to protect the ball, and I think that's always one of our goals on offense is not turn the ball over.
Joe, just how do you think the offense, detailed by himself, and then the offense can grow as he gets more experience, right? Start to reform.
Yeah, I think last week we tried to play on top. We tried to get the ball out of his hands. We knew they had a great rush, and he was hitting his first or second read most of the times. And I think there's ways you can advance that, take a few more shots downfield, move the pocket a little bit for him and stuff. And like I said, Pittsburgh's defense is so edge based, and they try and contain everything inside that. It's really a tough defense to do that against. But I think we can grow as a group, and he has a lot of experience, playing football. If you look at his college numbers and stuff like that, I think anytime you get in there and you get comfortable, like he hasn't had that many opportunities to throw the ball to Coop and Elijah and those guys. When you're working with the second or third team, so just growing like that, and he's learning. But he's very comfortable in the huddle. Like he has a confidence about himself. So all those things are positive. I think the more experience he gets, the more he can improve.
You see him in practice a little bit. Like this is the second full week of practice with the ones. Like you just see him kind of.
Yeah. No, he's he's correcting things. He's making sure we're in the right spot. If we're not, sometimes you have a bad shift on a Wednesday or Thursday because we're just putting things in or wrong formation, and he's getting us back in the huddle and making those things, making those corrections. So he's really focused, and I think that's the main thing I saw last week is just how focused he was in the meetings and in the walkthroughs and things like that.
Joel, just a real quick culture question for you. Ask Miles this, and had an interesting perspective. A lot of times when you hear about teams talk about brotherhood, it's a little bit more of like a college thing. You don't get that so much at the professional level.
Yeah.
And you guys have talked a lot about how much you seem to genuinely like each other. How much did that come naturally? How much have you guys had to work that?
I think when you can keep a general manager, a head coach, coaching staff together, you get to keep more of the core players. You know what I mean? And so since Andrew Barry's been here, you get the Miles, you get, the Wyatts, you get guys that have been along for 4 years now that can grow together and build together. And when you have those friendships, you bring other people into it. Then you go to the Greenbrier and you kind of have to hang out with each other. It grows into a culture. And then the offense talks about it a lot where, you play for the guy next to you. You got a left tackle next to you, you got a center next to you. Like, you can't let those guys down. And so it kind of builds in a brotherhood. But then when you start winning these close games and you start seeing the defense, get a pick six to help us improve and win a game, you just build it together and you realize, like, hey, we got to do this together. It's never going to come easy. But if the offense steps up once, the defense steps up, special teams steps up once, it's special, and you can feel the group growing tighter and tighter together.
Just go more around. Does it almost give a little bit of a sort of a Jacoby vibe? When he was here, he brought so much mentorship, so much wisdom and experience. Do you guys have some of that now?
Yeah, he's only, this is his first real week here, so we're still getting to know him. But he definitely has experience, and he definitely has that mentorship. And from what I've seen in the meeting room and stuff, he's a guy that they can bounce questions off of and stuff. And he's more than willing to talk. He makes me feel a little bit younger around here, so that's a positive. I think he's 38 now, 5 kids. That's a guy that's experienced a lot. So it's definitely been good to our room, and I know those guys are excited. We're excited to have him. Sweet, thanks, guys.